Sigma Motivation brings to you the inspiring story of Mario Molina. Mario Molina, in full Mario Jose Molina. Mexican-born American chemist who was jointly awarded the 1995 Nobel Prize for Chemistry, along with chemists F. Sherwood Rowland and Paul Crutzen, for research in the 1970s concerning the decomposition of the ozonosphere, which shields Earth from dangerous solar radiation. The discoveries of Molina and Rowland that some industrially manufactured gases deplete the ozone layer led to an international movement in the late 20th century to limit the widespread use of chlorofluorocarbon (CFC) gases. Molina studied chemical engineering at the National Autonomous University of Mexico, BIUS, 1965, in Mexico City and received an advanced degree from the University of Freiburg, 1967, in West Germany before returning to his alma mater to become an associate professor, 1967-68. He resumed his education in the United States at the University of California, Berkeley, Ph.D., 1972, where he worked for a year before joining Rowland at the University of California, Irvine. The pair conducted experiments on pollutants in the atmosphere, discovering that CFC gases rise into the stratosphere, where ultraviolet radiation breaks them into their component elements of chlorine, fluorine, and carbon. There, each chlorine atom is capable of destroying about 100,000 ozone molecules before becoming inactive. Michael Faraday, L., English physicist and chemist, electromagnetism, and John Frederick Daniel, R., British chemist and meteorologist who invented the Daniel. Mario Molina, in full Mario Jose Molina, stated that many Latino kids should become scientists because we need scientists all over the world from all different backgrounds. We have many tough problems, and we need everybody's help to solve the problems. The scientists I looked up to at the beginning were not Latino. They were famous scientists of many years ago, like Madame Curie. Later, I realized that there were also, but a very few, Latino scientists. There were good ones, but very few, because there wasn't as much a tradition to be a scientist in our culture. But this is changing. One of the very rewarding aspects of my work has been the interaction with a superb group of colleagues and friends in the atmospheric sciences community. The first education to be a good chemist is to do well in high school science courses. Then, you go to college to really become a chemist. You want to take science and math. Those are the main things. When I was in elementary school, I was very interested in science already. I must have been 10 or 11 years old. I started experiments with chemistry sets at my home in Mexico. I was able to borrow a bathroom and convert it to a laboratory. My parents supported it. They were pleased. My friends just tolerated it. I attended elementary school and high school in Mexico City. I was already fascinated by science before entering high school. I still remember my excitement when I first glanced at paramecia and amoebae through a rather primitive toy microscope. Keeping with our family tradition of sending their children abroad for a couple of years, and aware of my interest in chemistry, I was sent to a boarding school in Switzerland when I was 11 years old, on the assumption that German was an important language for a prospective chemist to learn. In 1960, I enrolled in the chemical engineering program at UNAM, as this was then the closest way to become a physical chemist, taking math-oriented courses not available to chemistry majors. The basic science is very well established. It is well understood that global warming is due to greenhouse gases. What is uncertain is projections about specifics in the next few decades. By how much will the climate change? The risk is 1 in 5 that we'll have a huge disaster on our hands if there is no change. Climate change will cost more than we can measure in dollars. And beyond that is the ethics of leaving a planet to future generations in which it's harder to get to the same standard of living we have now. Climate change, like depletion of the ozone layer, is proof of the damage human activities exert on Earth at the global level. Solutions require the commitment of all sectors of society. Mitigation strategies and adaptation measures need the collaboration of the scientific community, economists, technology and energy experts, entrepreneurs, decision makers, and the general population. We can say, let our grandchildren worry about it. But it's harder to change later. We invest in their children's education, even though it doesn't pay off for decades. Why not the planet? Climate change and ozone depletion are two global issues that are different, but have many connections. In the ozone depletion case, we managed to work with decision makers effectively, so that an international agreement called the Montreal Protocol was achieved that essentially solved the ozone depletion problem. Finding out for myself, for the first time, how something works is really an enormous driving force. It would be very irresponsible for our generation not to act. The planet is just too small for these developing countries to repeat the economic growth in the same way that the rich countries have done it in the past. We don't have enough natural resources. We don't have enough atmosphere. Clearly, something has to change. Scientists can depict the problems that will affect the environment based on available evidence. But their solution is not the responsibility of scientists, but of society as a whole. Please subscribe, like and share. Thank you.